Relationships are as complex as they are rewarding, often requiring a delicate balance of understanding, patience, and mutual respect. Stoic philosophy, with its emphasis on inner strength, emotional resilience, and the wisdom of subtle influence, offers valuable insights into navigating these dynamics with grace and intention. One intriguing way to apply Stoic principles in relationships is through the art of reverse psychology, a subtle, thoughtful approach to communication that can foster deeper connections without resorting to manipulation or coercion. Reverse psychology, when used thoughtfully, is not about trickery or deceit. Rather, it is a way of encouraging others to explore their own desires, decisions, and emotions more fully. It aligns beautifully with Stoicism, which teaches us to focus on what we can control, our actions, reactions, and attitudes, while accepting that we cannot and should not control others. This approach creates a relationship dynamic rooted in mutual respect, where both partners feel empowered to be themselves and make choices that reflect their true values. Tip 1. Master emotional detachment. Emotional detachment, a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy, is the practice of maintaining a steady and unshakable inner calm regardless of external circumstances. This doesn't mean becoming cold or indifferent, but rather cultivating a state of mind where your emotions do not control you. In relationships, especially when applying reverse psychology with women, mastering emotional detachment can be a powerful tool. Women often expect certain emotional responses based on societal norms or past experiences. For instance, if she shares something that might typically provoke jealousy, anger, or excitement, responding with calmness and neutrality can be incredibly disarming. This doesn't imply you should suppress your emotions, but rather manage them in a way that aligns with your values and the outcome you desire. When a woman anticipates a particular reaction and you don't provide it, it can lead her to rethink her approach or even open up more, as she realizes you're not easily swayed by external pressures. This kind of emotional steadiness can foster trust and respect, as it shows that you are in control of your own emotional world, a trait that many find deeply attractive. Moreover, by not reacting as expected, you subtly shift the dynamics of the interaction, often prompting her to seek further engagement or clarification. This can lead to deeper, more meaningful conversations where genuine understanding and connection are fostered. Mastering emotional detachment also allows you to remain objective, ensuring that your actions and words are aligned with your long-term goals rather than short-term emotional impulses. This level of control not only enhances your interactions but also strengthens your overall sense of inner peace, allowing you to navigate the complexities of relationships with grace and wisdom. Tip 2. Subtly encourage autonomy. Autonomy, the ability to make decisions independently, is a fundamental aspect of human dignity and respect. Stoicism teaches us to respect the autonomy of others while also valuing our own. In relationships, especially when engaging in reverse psychology, subtly encouraging a woman's autonomy can lead to deeper trust and mutual respect. Instead of directly guiding her toward a particular choice or action, you can create an environment where she feels empowered to decide for herself. This approach not only respects her independence but also often leads to outcomes that align with your preferences. For example, if she is undecided about weekend plans, instead of pushing for your preferred activity, express a genuine openness to any option she chooses. You might say something like, "I'm happy with whatever you decide, both options sound great to me." This lack of pressure can make her feel more at ease, and ironically, she may end up choosing the option you secretly favor because she doesn't feel like she's being guided in that direction. By prioritizing her autonomy, you create a dynamic where she feels respected and valued, which can lead to a stronger emotional connection. Over time, she may come to appreciate your willingness to support her decisions without imposing your own desires, making her more inclined to consider your preferences voluntarily. Furthermore, encouraging autonomy aligns with the Stoic belief in focusing on what is within your control, your own actions and reactions, while accepting that others are free to make their own choices. This mindset not only reduces unnecessary stress and conflict but also fosters a healthier, more balanced relationship where both partners feel empowered and respected. Tip 3. Practice indifference to outcomes. Stoic philosophy emphasizes the importance of focusing on what we can control, our thoughts, actions, and reactions, while remaining indifferent to outcomes that are beyond our control. This principle can be incredibly effective when applied to reverse psychology and relationships. Practicing indifference to outcomes means that you are more concerned with maintaining your integrity and composure than with achieving a specific result. When interacting with women, this approach can create a sense of intrigue and respect. For example, if you suggest an idea, such as going to a particular restaurant or attending an event, and she seems hesitant, instead of trying to convince her, you might simply say, "It's completely up to you. I'm happy either way." This relaxed, nonchalant attitude can be disarming because it shows that you're not overly attached to the outcome, which can make the idea more appealing to her. The key is to genuinely mean it. Practice letting go of the need for things to turn out a certain way. This not only reduces pressure on both of you but also demonstrates your confidence and self-assurance. Women often find this kind of confidence attractive because it signals that you are self-sufficient and not overly dependent on external validation. Over time, by consistently practicing indifference to outcomes, you cultivate an inner strength that allows you to remain calm and composed, regardless of how situations unfold. This not only enhances your personal sense of peace but also fosters a relationship dynamic where both partners feel free to express themselves without fear of judgment or pressure, leading to deeper and more authentic connections. Tip 4. Reflect confidence in uncertainty. Life is inherently uncertain, and Stoicism teaches us to embrace this uncertainty with confidence and composure. In relationships, reflecting confidence in the face of uncertainty can be a powerful form of reverse psychology, as it often encourages others to step up and take charge. When a woman is unsure about something, whether it's a decision she needs to make or a situation she's navigating, your confidence in her ability to handle it can be both reassuring and empowering. Instead of offering solutions or trying to guide her toward a specific choice, express your trust in her judgment. For instance, if she's facing a difficult decision at work or in her personal life, rather than advising her on what to do, you might say, "I know you'll make the right choice, you always do." This not only demonstrates your confidence in her but also subtly encourages her to trust her own instincts. By not trying to solve her problems for her, you give her the space to find her own solutions, which often leads to a more satisfying and empowering outcome. Reflecting confidence in uncertainty also aligns with the Stoic principle of focusing on what you can control, your own reactions and attitude, while accepting that you cannot control the choices of others. This approach can lead to a deeper sense of mutual respect, as she comes to see you as someone who supports her autonomy and believes in her capabilities. Over time, this can strengthen your bond, as she will likely feel more secure and valued in the relationship, knowing that you trust and respect her enough to let her navigate uncertainty on her own terms. Tip 5. Harness the power of suggestion. The art of suggestion, when done with subtlety and finesse, can be a powerful tool in reverse psychology, especially when grounded in Stoic principles. Stoicism teaches the value of clarity and brevity in communication, saying just enough to convey your point without overwhelming the listener. In relationships, particularly with women, the power of suggestion lies in planting ideas without directly pushing for a specific outcome. Instead of telling her what you want or trying to persuade her with logical arguments, you can subtly guide her thinking by making casual, seemingly offhand remarks. For example, if you'd like her to join you in a new activity, instead of directly asking, you might mention how much you've enjoyed it lately and how it's brought you a lot of peace or joy. This indirect approach can pique her curiosity without making her feel pressured. The key to effective suggestion is to make it appear as though you're simply sharing your thoughts, with no expectation attached. This allows her to consider the idea on her own terms, which often leads to her taking the action you desired, but in a way that feels like it was her decision. Over time, mastering the power of suggestion can create a dynamic where she feels more inclined to consider your preferences and ideas, not because she feels obligated, but because she's genuinely interested and intrigued. This approach also aligns with Stoic values by ensuring that your communication is respectful and considerate, focusing on what you can control, how you express yourself, rather than trying to control her reactions or decisions. As a result, you build a relationship based on mutual respect and understanding, where both partners feel free to express themselves without fear of manipulation or coercion. Tip 6. Lead by example, not instruction. Stoicism places a high value on leading by example, embodying the virtues and principles you wish to see in others. This approach can be particularly effective in relationships when combined with reverse psychology. Instead of telling a woman what she should do or how she should behave, you can lead by example, demonstrating the qualities or actions you value through your own behavior. For instance, if you want her to adopt a healthier lifestyle, rather than lecturing her about diet and exercise, simply model these behaviors yourself. Show your commitment to a healthy lifestyle by making nutritious choices, staying active, and talking about how these habits positively impact your life. Your actions will speak louder than words, and over time, she may become more inclined to follow suit, not because she feels pressured, but because she sees the benefits reflected in your life. Leading by example also aligns with the Stoic principle of focusing on self-discipline and personal responsibility, ensuring that you are living in accordance with your values rather than merely preaching them. This approach can foster a deeper level of respect and admiration in the relationship, as she comes to see you as someone who practices what they preach. Moreover, by refraining from direct instruction, you create a space where she feels free to make her own choices without feeling judged or coerced. This can lead to a more harmonious relationship where both partners inspire and uplift each other through their actions rather than through words alone. Over time, this method of leading by example can strengthen your bond, as it fosters a mutual respect for each other's autonomy and personal growth. Tip 7. Embrace silence as a strategic tool. Silence is a powerful tool in Stoicism, often serving as a means of reflection, self-control, and wisdom. When applied to reverse psychology and relationships, silence can be just as powerful, if not more so, than words. Women often expect certain responses in conversations, particularly in emotionally charged situations. By choosing silence over immediate reaction, you create an unexpected space that can shift the dynamics of the interaction. For example, if she's upset or trying to provoke a reaction, instead of responding immediately, you might simply listen, nod, and give her space to express herself fully. This silence can be disarming because it shows that you're not easily rattled or compelled to react defensively. Instead, your silence conveys that you're thoughtfully considering what she's saying, which can lead her to reflect on her own words and perhaps even soften her stance. Silence can also be used strategically in decision-making scenarios. If she's pushing for a particular decision and you remain silent, it can create a moment of introspection where she may begin to reconsider her position or feel the need to explain herself further. This can lead to a more balanced conversation where both perspectives are fully considered. Embracing silence as a tool in your interactions not only demonstrates self-control, a key Stoic virtue, but also shows that you are not driven by the need to dominate the conversation or impose your views. Over time, this can lead to a deeper respect and understanding in the relationship, as she comes to see you as a thoughtful and considerate partner who values listening as much as speaking. This approach also aligns with the Stoic belief in the power of reflection and the idea that sometimes the most impactful response is no response at all. Tip 8. Display non-attachment to preferences. Non-attachment is a central concept in Stoicism, emphasizing the importance of not clinging to external things, whether they are material possessions, outcomes, or even preferences. In the context of reverse psychology, displaying non-attachment to your preferences can be a subtle yet effective way to influence behavior in relationships. When a woman knows that you have a strong preference for something, be it a certain activity, food, or even a social setting, downplaying that preference can have a paradoxical effect. For example, if you typically enjoy a particular type of cuisine but want her to choose the restaurant, you might say, "I'm open to trying something new, whatever you're in the mood for works for me." This casual, non-attached attitude can make your usual preference more appealing because it no longer carries the weight of expectation. By showing that you're not overly invested in getting your way, you create an environment where she feels free to make choices without the pressure of conforming to your desires. Interestingly, this often leads to her gravitating toward what you wanted in the first place because it feels like her own decision rather than something you were pushing for. Displaying non-attachment also aligns with Stoic principles by reinforcing the idea that your inner peace and happiness are not dependent on external circumstances. This mindset not only makes you more adaptable and resilient but also makes your relationship more balanced and harmonious, as both partners feel free to express their preferences without fear of disappointment or conflict. Over time, practicing non-attachment to preferences can lead to a deeper mutual respect as she comes to appreciate your flexibility and willingness to accommodate her desires, which in turn can make her more inclined to consider your preferences with genuine interest and care. Tip 9. Use paradoxical statements. Paradoxes are a fascinating aspect of Stoic philosophy, often used to convey deeper truths or challenge conventional thinking. When applied to reverse psychology, paradoxical statements can be a clever and subtle way to influence behavior, particularly in relationships. The key to using paradoxical statements effectively is to present them in a way that is thoughtful, non-confrontational, and even slightly playful. For example, if a woman is hesitant about trying something new, like a hobby or a social activity, you might say, "You're probably right, it might not be your thing anyway, or it could be too challenging, but you know your limits best." These statements, which seem to downplay her capabilities or interest, can ignite a natural desire to prove you wrong or reconsider her hesitation. The paradox lies in the fact that by gently questioning her ability or interest, you're actually encouraging her to rise to the challenge. The effectiveness of this technique depends on your delivery. It should be light, non-judgmental, and ideally framed as a reflection of concern or understanding rather than a direct challenge. This approach plays on the human tendency to want to assert one's capabilities and independence, often leading to the exact behavior you were hoping to encourage. Paradoxical statements also align with Stoic principles by encouraging introspection and self-awareness. When you present a paradox, you invite her to think more deeply about her own motivations and desires, which can lead to more authentic and thoughtful decision-making. Over time, mastering the use of paradoxical statements can enhance your relationship by fostering a dynamic where both partners feel challenged and supported in a way that promotes growth and mutual respect. Tip 10. Cultivate patience and acceptance. Patience and acceptance are two of the most powerful virtues in Stoicism, and they are equally essential when applying reverse psychology in relationships. Cultivating patience means understanding that not every situation requires immediate resolution or action, and that often, the best outcomes emerge over time. When using reverse psychology, it's important to be patient and allow the other person to come to their own conclusions at their own pace. For instance, if you've subtly suggested a course of action or planted an idea, resist the urge to push or follow up immediately. Give her the space and time to process, reflect, and decide on her own. This patience shows that you respect her autonomy and trust her judgment, which can deepen her respect for you in return. Acceptance, on the other hand, involves embracing whatever outcome arises without resistance or frustration. This doesn't mean passivity, but rather an acknowledgement that not everything will go as planned, and that's okay. In the context of reverse psychology, acceptance allows you to maintain your composure and inner peace, regardless of whether your subtle suggestions lead to the desired outcome. By accepting the results as they are, you demonstrate a level of maturity and emotional resilience that is deeply aligned with Stoic principles. Over time, cultivating patience and acceptance in your interactions can lead to a more harmonious and fulfilling relationship as both partners feel free to express themselves without fear of judgment or pressure. This approach also fosters a deeper sense of trust as she comes to see you as a steady, reliable presence who values the process of decision-making as much as the outcome. Ultimately, by practicing patience and acceptance, you create a relationship dynamic that is rooted in mutual respect, understanding, and genuine connection. Applying Stoic principles to reverse psychology is about more than just influencing behavior. It's about creating a relationship dynamic that is rooted in respect, autonomy, and understanding. By mastering emotional detachment, encouraging autonomy, practicing indifference to outcomes, and embracing patience, you can use reverse psychology in a way that aligns with both Stoic wisdom and genuine connection. The goal is not to manipulate but to foster an environment where both you and the woman can thrive, guided by mutual respect and thoughtful interaction. Each of these tips, when practiced with sincerity and mindfulness, can lead to deeper, more meaningful relationships that are built on a foundation of trust, respect, and shared growth. Remember, the true power of reverse psychology lies not in controlling others, but in creating a space where they feel free to be themselves, make their own choices, and ultimately, connect with you on a deeper, more authentic level.